And I now give the floor to the distinguished permanent representative of Pakistan for her statement.
Mr. President, the situation in Afghanistan remains a source of grave concern for the international community. Persisting conflict, instability and turmoil, and a fragile economy continue to exacerbate the suffering of the Afghan people. Mr. President, let me begin by condemning, on behalf of the people and government of Pakistan, in the strongest terms, the terrorist attack on the United Nations vehicle in Kabul on 24 November, which resulted in unfortunate death of one UN official and injured two others. We join the Secretary General's call to bring the perpetrators of this heinous crime to justice as soon as possible. Mr. President, Pakistan enjoys a close and symbiotic relationship with the people of Afghanistan, anchored in geography, history, shared ethnicity, and a common faith. Peace in Afghanistan will enable both nations to serve as the bridge for trade and commerce between Central Asia, South Asia, and beyond. The success of the endeavors for peace and prosperity in Afghanistan is therefore vital for Pakistan. Apart from Afghanistan itself, there is no country that has suffered more than Pakistan from the 4 decades of war and foreign interventions in Afghanistan. We have lost over 80,000 civilians and soldiers in the war on terror. There is no other country, therefore, which will gain more from peace in Afghanistan. Mr. President, our Prime Minister, Imran Khan, was opposed to the foreign intervention in Afghanistan from the outset. Pakistan has maintained consistently that there is no military solution to the conflict in Afghanistan. Peace can be restored only through a negotiated political settlement involving the full spectrum of Afghanistan's political landscape. Therefore, Pakistan has welcomed the international consensus which supports a political settlement achieved through an inclusive intra-Afghan process. In this context, Pakistan supports elections in Afghanistan in accordance with the aspirations of its people. In the past year, Pakistan has done whatever it could to contribute to the objective of a political settlement. Prime Minister Imran Khan reaffirmed Pakistan's support to peace, stability and prosperity in Afghanistan in his very first address to the nation after election. The Prime Minister responded to United States President Donald Trump's request last year to assist in the commencement of the US-Taliban talks. Our contribution to launch of direct US-Taliban talks in Doha after an initial round in the UAE is well known. Pakistan released Taliban leader Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar at the request of the United States. During the several rounds of US-Taliban talks, Pakistan has maintained close liaison with the dialogue process and, with endorsement at the highest level, fully supported these efforts. When the process broke down, Pakistan hosted a delegation of the Taliban Political Commission in October, who traveled from Doha, and we facilitated contacts that enabled the resumption of the stalled negotiations. Most recently, Pakistan played a crucial role in the release of a US and an Australian national from captivity. We appreciate President Trump's call to Prime Minister Imran Khan to thank him for facilitating this release. Mr. President, these efforts have led to the resumption of direct talks between the United States and the Taliban in Doha. We hope these talks will soon conclude in an agreement between them. This agreement, in turn, should enable an intra-Afghan dialogue, bringing all Afghan parties to the table. Such a dialogue can secure political settlement and sustainable peace if all parties display flexibility and mutual accommodation. Such a peace settlement should also ensure that no terrorist groups operate from Afghanistan. Mr. President, the support of the major powers in regional states will be essential to support the intra-Afghan process and sustained peace and security in and around Afghanistan. The joint efforts by the United States, China, Russia, and Pakistan have made a positive contribution to the ongoing dialogue and will continue to be relevant to the next stage of the intra-Afghan dialogue. At the regional level, China, Afghanistan, and Pakistan hosted the third round of trilateral foreign ministers' dialogue in Islamabad last August. Mr. President, Pakistan has made consistent efforts to improve and enhance its relations with Afghanistan. During President Ghani's visit to Pakistan in June 2019, the two countries agreed to adopt a forward-looking approach and move away from the difficulties of the past. We continue to work closely with Afghanistan to extend trade and economic relations and cooperation for regional connectivity under the umbrella of the Afghan-Pakistan Action Plan for Peace and Solidarity. Opening of the Torkham crossing for commercial traffic on a 24/7 basis and opening of our airspace have added another tangible dimension to closer cooperation between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan has provided significant assistance to Afghanistan in development in the sectors of education, health, reconstruction, and infrastructure. The Jinnah Hospital in Kabul, a gift from Pakistan to the people of Afghanistan, was recently handed over to the Afghan authorities. Another 100-bed hospital in Logar province is near completion. Mr. President, peace in Afghanistan will open the door to economic cooperation and investment, including projects such as the Belt and Road Initiative and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. We are working with Afghanistan and other regional partners on several other regional economic and energy projects, such as the TAPI and the CASA 1000 and others. Mr. President, Pakistan has hosted millions of Afghan refugees for 4 decades. This is the largest protracted refugee presence anywhere in the world. My government has extended the tripartite agreement and the validity of the stay of Afghan refugees in Pakistan until 30 June 2020. We remain committed to their safe, dignified, voluntary, and early repatriation. Mr. President, securing the Pakistan-Afghanistan border and preventing cross-border terrorist attacks from across the border is essential. This can be achieved only through constant vigilance, effective management, and real-time communications. Terrorists should not be allowed to provoke clashes between Pakistan and Afghanistan border security forces. We need regular contact between the armed forces and intelligence agencies of the two countries to prevent any violent incidents along the border. To this end, the armed forces of Pakistan and Afghanistan have agreed to place liaison officers in each other's army headquarters and establish ground coordination centers. Mr. President, the success of these initiatives requires reciprocity, trust, and goodwill. We hope the Afghan government will work constructively with us to address the challenges that endanger our collective security and stability. Mr. President, 80 years ago, in the aftermath of Britain's wars in Afghanistan, Allama Iqbal, Pakistan's national poet, said, and I quote, "The continent of Asia is like a body made of clay and water, and Afghanistan lies like a heart in that body. In case there is peace in Afghanistan, there will be tranquility in the whole of Asia. But if there is chaos in Afghanistan, there will be disorder in the entire Asia." I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the distinguished permanent representative of Pakistan for the statement.